What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jordan and I'm a first year medical student in the state of New Jersey. So it is Monday afternoon and I actually had an exam this morning. It was our midterm for our current block, which is called homeostasis and allostasis. It's basically our cardio-pulmonary block, and we had a midterm that was just all cardiology. So we did cardiology for 4 weeks, had an exam today, and the rest of our class is going to be pulm and renal. So the exam itself was pretty difficult. For one, it was hard to learn cardiology in just 4 weeks. And we also didn't have too much time to study for it. We had lectures on new material last Friday and we had our exam today, Monday. So we really just had the weekend to focus on studying. For most of our exam weeks, we have our exam on Friday and then we have a OSCE somewhere in there. But other than that, we don't have any scheduled class, so we have a lot of time to study. But for this one, since it was a midterm, we didn't have that, so I think that was probably the biggest reason of why it was so hard. I also took the full 3 hours for the exam, which I typically don't do, but a lot of the questions had a lot of layers to them. You really had to think them through, so I think that's why it took me the full time, and it took a lot of us the full time. Some of my friends who also finished early stayed there until the time ran out. So we're able to see our scores tomorrow during an exam review, so we can kind of count up what we got right and wrong, see sort of a ballpark of how we did on it, but our official grades won't come out for a few weeks. And the way this class works is we will take our score from this exam and add it up with the final exam, which will be on pulm and renal, and that'll sort of be our total for the class. So can't necessarily fail this exam, but you can set yourself up for failure if you don't do that well. So like I said, the other components of this class are pulmonology and renal, and we actually start back up tomorrow. We have no time off after the exam. We have an 8 a.m. pulmonary histology lab tomorrow. Then the rest of this week is just going to be a lot of general pulmonology stuff, sort of the anatomy, the normal physiology, and then in the later weeks we'll get into some of the pathologies like asthma, COPD, cystic fibrosis, all that fun stuff. But for right now, I'm going to try to relax a little bit and then do some prep for tomorrow. Alright, what's up, everyone? It is Thursday. I want to check in, let you know how the rest of the week has been going. So Tuesday, as I said, we had a lung histology section and then sort of a general anatomy and physiology of the lungs. Yesterday, Wednesday, we had a bunch of sessions on motivational interviewing, so sort of practicing, trying to get patients to change their behavior, like trying to get someone to stop smoking, trying to get someone to take a medication that would be beneficial to them, that sort of stuff. And then in the afternoon, we had a lung auscultation simulation. So we have these really high-tech mannequins that can play different heart and lung sounds. So how it worked is we would listen to the mannequin, sort of have an idea of what we thought was going on, and then we could check a chest x-ray and sort of confirm, oh, yep, that looks like a pneumonia on chest x-ray, sounded like one. And then there was an answer key so we could see if we were right or not. So that was really fun. Honestly, very difficult for some of them, especially because it was our first time trying to hear lung sounds on those mannequins. We've done heart sounds, and that's a little bit more self-explanatory, but sounds like the abnormal findings is an absence of lung sounds. So you're like, am I just not doing this right, or am I supposed to hear nothing? So I think the more practice we do with those, it'll make a lot more sense. But overall, it was a good experience. It's always nice to use that sort of advanced technology to practice seeing the abnormal stuff, because when we do our standardized patients and our OSCEs, they can't give them any abnormal findings. So in this stage of our preclinicals, it's really nice to have those tools for us. So that was Wednesday, and then today, Thursday, we had 3 lectures, one on respiratory acid-base balance, one on gas transport, and then one on diffusion. But the most exciting thing that happened today is we got sort of the second half of our placements for clinical rotations. So if you haven't seen it yet, go check out my video where I talk about my order for my clinical rotations. But that was sort of the first part of our lottery to see where we're doing our rotations. First, we get our sequence, and then we get our locations. So my school, since we have so many hospitals throughout the state, we're sort of split up into North Jersey and South Jersey. So last week, we sort of put in our preferences for what we want. A lot of students choose to stay up north because, one, you don't have to move because right now we're up north. Two, it's where our biggest flagship hospital is, so if you want to do your rotations at our biggest, shiniest hospital, it makes sense to stay up north. Also, some people have families up here, so you would want to stay up here for that. And it's a little more convenient because we do have to come back to the campus a few times a rotation to do our OSCEs and our shelf exams. So if you're up north, you don't have to make the hour and a half drive from down south. There are some perks for south as well. One, you're near the beach. I know people down south who can see the ocean from their window, so really nice area to be living in. It's also a little less crowded, so stuff like parking and traffic is a little easier. Also, at some of the south hospitals, you get meal stipends every single day, so you can pretty much get a free lunch every single time you're working, so that's really nice. And once again, some people might be from South Jersey or they're from more southern states, so maybe they want to go down there for that. So there's 4 options for how to split up the rotations. You can either do north-north, north-south, south-south, or south-north. And basically what that means is if you're north-north, you would do all your rotations up north. North-south, you would do half your rotations up north. Then you would go down south and, you can figure out the rest. I'm not really sure why sort of the splits exist. It sort of makes it pretty inconvenient to have to get like 2 6-month leases, but I'm sure there's a legitimate reason for it, just like scheduling with the hospital might be pretty crazy. So a lot of people, for example, will do like north-north for their first choice, south-south for their second choice, and then the 2 split ones as 3 and 4, just to try to make it a little bit easier on them. No one wants to be moving right in the middle of rotations. So personally for me, I wanted south, and thankfully that's what I got. For all the reasons I explained, it's near the beach. I don't know if I'll ever be able to live near a beach for the foreseeable future. I was about 2.5 hours away from the beach my whole life, so getting the opportunity to live really close I think would be great, especially in the summers. I have some lighter rotations during the summer too, so that's going to be really nice. Residencies are typically in big metropolitan areas, so if I do a surgical residency, I'm going to be in a city for 5 years. So I thought, why not? I might not get this opportunity for a while, so I'm going to try to get the south. And the way that my school works out is typically if you want the south, you're going to get it. A lot of people want to stay up north for the aforementioned reasons. So me and a lot of friends that wanted south ended up getting it. It's currently May, and we're probably going to move down sometime in late November because our clerkships start early December. So it's pretty exciting. Even though it is still 6 months away, I know that time is going to fly. I can't believe I've almost been here for a full year. Alright, what is up everyone? It is Sunday, and I just wanted to check in, let you know how the rest of the week went. So Friday we had some lectures on blood flow and ventilation, some really important concepts for pulmonology. And then afterwards, the SGA actually put on a bingo event at a bar that's right across the street from school. Back in our anatomy block, we had sort of like an anatomy trivia session, which was really, really fun. So we thought to have a similar event, but with bingo this time, not really related to school at all. Pretty easy to play bingo and just like relax. So the SGA pays for everything, so students just come, sit, have some free appetizers, and enjoy themselves. We had a bunch of school merch for prizes like water bottles, hoodies, that kind of stuff. As a way to sort of incentivize people to come, it was a tough week. We had an exam. It's a Friday. It was a beautiful day, so maybe people want to do other stuff than go to bingo, but it was still really good. We had a nice turnout. So all in all, a successful event. Afterwards, me and a few classmates went to go get donuts and then just hung out there for a while, played some board games. Once again, just like a nice way to unwind after a tough week. Then yesterday, Saturday, was just kind of a study day. Went and grabbed some coffee in the morning, but it was kind of raining all day, so didn't really want to do anything. So just kind of stayed in and caught up on the week. And then yesterday, a lot of the same, lots of work to do, but me and Mackenzie went to brunch, so that was a really great way to sort of celebrate being done with that midterm. It was honestly a pretty tough week for everyone, mostly because we didn't really have a break after our exam. Typically, we at least have like a weekend after an exam to sort of decompress, turn our brains off before classes start on the next Monday. But unfortunately, the way that this class works out, the exam on Monday, we just have to get right back to it on Tuesday. So because of that, people were still kind of run down from the exam and studying really hard the weekend before, so not too much studying got done throughout the week, but at least we had the weekend to catch up. And we still have 6 weeks until our next exam, so there's plenty of time. We actually only have 3 exams left of medical school, which is really crazy to think about. We have the final for this current block, which like I said is in about 6 weeks. Then we only have 2 more classes left. We have a GI class and a neuro class. They're both only 8 weeks long, so those don't have a midterm, it's just a final. We do have some like required practice step exams in there, but those aren't really like included in our curriculum or count for anything. So in terms of exams that really count for our preclinical curriculum, there's only 3 left. Alright, well that is going to do it for today's video. If you enjoyed, please be sure to leave a like below and subscribe if you want to see videos like this in the future. Thanks, and I will see you in the next one.